I'm gonna put my feet up. Hang on. Scoot this over. I'm gonna put my feet up. I almost deleted the new one. Enjoy. Actually, complete. This is one of the things. Apparently, I'm a little airheaded. Even more airheaded than usual. That was one of the things I was going to talk about, though. When I was trying to mess around with the chair, I found out that there's a little knob on the bottom here. This chair used to not lean back like this. It used to not recline like this. But I guess because I just changed it. Dude, this Tager! This Tager! What the? This Tager! I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. Like, this Tager's gameplay speaks for itself. This man is disgusting. Okay, but now Naoto kind of popping off. Yeah, honestly, like, shifting that knob a little bit that makes it so this chair actually reclines is the best discovery I've ever had. That did 4,500 damage, by the way. Out of nowhere? Like, did that even start with anything particularly special? Oh my god. I kind of wonder how many people would play Naoto if it weren't for his, let's be real, pretty significant execution requirements. Because he's actually, like, he's such a good character. He's so strong. But you do have to, I mean, it's kind of the same for me. Like, when I tried, that was, nice sparkle. When I wanted to play Chip, where it's just kind of like, I really do, like, I don't dislike, he's dead. Naoto's dead. If he doesn't burst, which he shouldn't, that was necessary, but take it. Yeah, he's dead regardless. That did 6k damage! Okay, Tager. Just casually dumpster out 6k damage. That's all good. Oh, he could have hit confirmed that, I think. Because most nice low profile. Can I get a set between these two players? I'm genuinely down for like a first to 5, first to 10. Depending on how the first to 10 goes, maybe a first to 50. I actually really liked it. Like, this is a really enjoyable match. Both these players are really solid. They're both playing the matchup really well. Like, there's not really any significant holes in either of them. There's not, like, neither one of them is doing anything stupid. They're both playing well. Whoa. Oh, that was the first mistake that Tager made. You can't really even call it a mistake. Okay, that was definitely a mistake. Gonna get punished for that. And this Tager ring, I don't know if this Tager can win this. This isn't gonna kill it. He can't kill it. It is a lot of damage, but it can't kill. They both have meter. He tried to spark bolt and he just got DP'd in his face. But that was really good. That's one of the things that I wish. This is one of the advantages of being, you know, like if you're. How long has this been going on? 27 minutes. Good lord. My last couple replay theaters have been way too long. But you always have ideas. If you're, you know, like if you're streaming. Holy shit, Amane. Relax. That was messed up. If you're like a popular streamer, if you're a popular YouTuber, it opens up angles of things that you can potentially do that otherwise you can't really. You don't really have the option to do, right? So like for me, if I wanted to have like a tournament series of some sort, who's gonna pay attention to me, right? Like it'd be really cool, it'd be really nice to do, but like I'm nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about me. Whereas if I was, you know, like, I mean anybody, you can pretty much pick anybody out of a hat that's more popular than me. But they would be able to do stuff like that. And so that's the kind of thing where you think about where it's like, if I was more popular. That would be something that you could potentially set up, where you see two players that are just like, yo, these two players are sick. Let me like sponsor a 1st to 10 between these players for the community to set up, and I can put, like I can set up a prize pool. Just be like, all right, the winner of this gets $100, 100, like whatever, just some random amount of money. It's like a decent amount that their time is well worth it. That kind of stuff. And it's that kind of thing that's just like, I wish that I was. It's moments like that. It's just like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could viably do a lot of stuff like that. But through mostly my own fault, some of it just, you know, the luck required. Holy shit! That just busted through her entire barrier gauge and then hit her. Amane a counter to Izanami confirmed. I was like, I still remember. I don't know how many of you guys ever paid attention to Marvel to Ultimate. I mean, I guess did this happen during Marvel or did it not happen until Ultimate? But I still remember, you know, when Chris G, actually I guess it was Ultimate, because I don't think Chris G ever started really popping off on Morrigan until Ultimate Marvel was Capcom 3. But so Chris G did turn Morrigan into an absolute menace in MVC3. And she became a problem. There wasn't really any clear-cut counter to the character at that point. And so then Dominion came out at one random point and was like, hey, check this out. Thor is totally a counter to Morrigan. And then proceeded to never have any significant results using Thor ever, including against Morrigan's. That's just the same thing that instantly put in my head, like, yeah, Amane's totally a counter and an answer to Izanami. It's working so far. Like, this Amane player is not really struggling as much as I would think they should against an Izanami. They're doing pretty well. Oh, well, I had to open my fat ass mouth. And now Amane's probably dead. Well, Izanami dropped the combo with an op. Nope. Oh, caught the backdash. Just pick Amane and do random wake up super, and you'll win every time. I have two. We'll see how this might be the end of it. There's 2 Chari replays in a row, and one of them, I've never seen this before. I've seen Chari Susanoo, I've seen Chari Azriel, I've seen Chari Tager. I could play all 3 of those characters better than Chari. Now, I want you to understand something here. I've never picked Kagura for anything in my goddamn life. But I'm pretty sure I would still be able to play Kagura better than him. So, if that's the case, I'm out of here the second this match is over. Like, I fully expect this dude to get double perfected. I fully expect this dude to get double perfected. And if that happens, I'm out of here. Because, like, undeniably, Kagura's not a good character. He is regularly in the argument for bottom 3. And I would struggle to find a character worse than... Because you have, I mean, I would say, when you come to a bottom 3, Bullet for sure. 100% Bullet deserves to be there. 100%, so that's 1 perfect. 100% Noel deserves to be there. And then you have an argument of characters like Taukaka, Kagura, who else? Jubei. So basically you're fighting for that last slot. And I don't think there's anybody worse than those 3 characters. Like, I'd have to go look at the character select screen, which I might do that after this. Oh, but he dropped that. Well, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I could just go and look. Well, that was almost. Oh, it was a nice anti-air. I mean, I would hope at this point this Izanami's kind of identified that, like, he's just kind of doing shit mindlessly. And if any character can abuse that, it's Izanami. She has ribcage. And the entire move is specifically designed. That bugs me though. As one of the best. I mean, obviously ribcage is such an easy target to talk shit about when it comes to Izanami's design. But like the fact that she gets that full screen slide and she can hit confirm it even off of a non-counter hit, that really irks me. Wait, so let me go look. Like, I can't watch a second Chari match in a row. So this is just gonna be it. But I just want to go look and see. Like, is there anybody else in here that I would argue would be deserving of a bottom 3 slot? So like I said, Bullet 100%. You will never argue me down from the fact that Bullet is the worst character in the game. Noelle also deserves to be in bottom 3. 100%. You will never argue me down from that. But then after those two, you have Jubei, you have Kagura. Where's Kagura? On this character select screen. Right here. You have Kagura, and who was the other one that I mentioned? There was the third one that I mentioned, and now I'm just completely blanking on who it was. Kagura, Jubei. Did I not have a third? I thought I for sure. Oh, Taukaka. Where are you? Where are you? Taukaka. There's nobody else in that same, like, area of characters. Right? Like, nobody else deserves to be there. Bang's good, Carl's good, Mu is great, Valkenhein's good, Relius is good, Platinum's good, Lychee's good, Makoto's good. Maybe Terumi. Maybe. That's a tough sell for me, though. For Terumi to be on the same level as those three. Yeah, none of the rest of these. There's no way. None of the rest of these, for sure. So that's my own personal. There you go. You got my first tier list ever. Only for the bottom 5 characters in the game. Bullet is the worst character in the game, 100%. Noelle is the second worst character in the game, 100%. And then you have an additional 3 bottom characters in Taukaka, Kagura, Jubei. And then from there, who the fuck cares? I'm only here to talk about the bottom 5. But yeah, those characters are rough. I'm kind of surprised how few people play 9 these days. I actually think 9 is a pretty cool character design. Not in turn. I mean, obviously you have the, hey, look at that big booba waifu. But in terms of her gameplay, I like the concept of her gameplay, where the sequence of moves that you use dictate what move she gets for her drive. I like that. I think that's really cool and a really interesting concept, and I dig that. Now, obviously, as a person that largely uses Tager and Azriel, and 9 shits on both of them, I hate her. But in terms of just her pure gameplay, I like her design. I really do. And I'm surprised that there are so few 9 players, because she is an incredibly strong character. Like, obviously, she's not as strong as... Let's actually, since we did, like I mentioned in the last replay theater, how one of you guys asked me, like, who do you think is the least used character in the game? There are, like, S? I kind of understand. I think she's really, like, she's an incredibly strong character. I don't think anybody can deny that she's an incredibly strong character. But she's also a really basic, kind of uninteresting character. And so overall, I think if you're looking, ironically enough, since Jin is on the 2P side, if you're looking at a character to play that's really fundamentally strong, but kind of boring overall, why would you not pick Jin over S? I think the majority of people would pick Jin. But, Tsubaki has always kind of surprised me that she's had so few people playing her. Because she's never been bad. She was even top tier. Wasn't she one of the top tier? Like her, Makoto, and Noelle in CS Extend. They were like the Holy Trinity, right? But even then, nobody really played her. There were a lot of people playing Makoto and a lot of people playing Noelle, but there really weren't that many Tsubaki players. It's always kind of surprised me that she's seen so little play. Let's see. Oh, she's actually dropped off entirely too. There's really But she's undeniably stronger than Tsubaki. But very, very few people playing her. Kind of in general, the majority of the newer characters. Like, I think Izanami is kind of the only exception. Izanami and Susanoo are kind of the only exception. But, like, Naoto I get. Naoto just... You have to be so focused 100% of the time because of his execution requirements that, like, that can get a little tiresome if you're trying to play for a long period of time. Just to have to be so on point always to be able to play the character, I get that. But Susanoo's played a lot. Jubei you never see, which is understandable because Jubei fucking sucks. Hibiki you don't see that much. And that's just because, I mean, he's kind of the same thing that I mentioned with S, right? Like, why would you bother playing this character when this dude's available? If you're looking for somebody along that archetype. Jin's better. Very similar kind of style in terms of how you want to ultimately play the character. The only real difference is that Jin is better at the game plan, and I mean, that's kind of it. So, like, if you're looking for a character like that, why would you not just pick Jin? But then Kokonoe, right? Like, nobody plays her anymore. Everybody and their mother had a Kokonoe back when she was the most overpowered game-breaking character. But the second she stopped being completely, you know, S+++ tier, everybody was like, okay, yeah, never mind. I don't care about this character. Now there are like 3 people that still bother playing her. I mean, Azriel's fallen off a cliff too. Nobody's ever really played Amane that much. Izuyoi had a decent chunk of people playing her in Chrono Phantasm and Chrono Phantasm Extend. But Central Fiction, not really. 9 has also fallen off a cliff. I can't even remember the last time I saw a 9. Celica, thankfully, has never been that popular. I still think she's a waste of a character slot, but that's just my own personal bias. And I guess none of these other characters are new. I don't know. But this is always one of the things where you constantly hear people talk about. So, like, apparently the new Melty Blood game, for instance, is only going to have 12 characters, I think. It was either 10 or 12, which is a very small amount. But you always hear people complain about that, about how, like, oh, this cast only has 12 characters, 14 characters. Them's Fighting Hers only had 6 on release. And you always hear people talk about, like, oh, that's a terrible thing. There aren't enough characters. But, like, you look at a cast like this, which has, what, probably like 30-ish? I'm not going to actually count them through. Let me see. 4, 9. There's 6 there, 15. 6 there, 21, 6 there, 27, 5, 32, 35. There are 35 characters in this game, right? 10 of them might be, like, actually decently commonly used. Like, let's look through this. Not really. Yes. 1. No. 2. Let's just count all 3 of the Murakumo units as 1. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Honestly, he deserves it. There are a lot of Taker players. So let's just collectively, if you combine all the characters that aren't really played that often, there's basically 10 characters in this game, right? So, like, I cannot understand. Or, like, if you look at MVC2, for instance, that game has what, like 60 characters in it? And like 6 of them are commonly played? So I really hate that there's just this idea that, like, oh yeah, you need to have a ton of characters in a fighting game, or else it's a waste of time. But, like, every single fighting game ever, even in a game that has only, you know, like 10 characters, 15 characters, 20 characters, like maybe 5, 6, 7 of them are actually picked commonly. Okay, anyway, enough rambling. But it's something that I've always hated, and I've never understood, this idea that, like, oh yeah, the more characters, the better. Like, you're not gonna pick them. Or like King of Fighters 14, for instance. That game had, God, how many characters did that have? Like 50, 60? And like, maybe less than 10 of them were commonly used? Like, it's not a knock against games that have more characters. Like, it's definitely good, but don't pretend for even a fucking second that, you know, you're gonna walk into Mortal Kombat and be like, hey, yo, thank God this game has 15, 20, 30 characters in it. I'm gonna pick Scorpion. Wow, you're really unique, dog. Well done. Maybe you're gonna pick Sub-Zero. Oh, it's that SpongeBob meme where it's like they're going through all the things like, oh yeah, I'll have one of this and one of this, and the store tender is just kind of like, oh yeah, fantastic. Oh yeah, fantastic. And then I'll have one of this. Oh, feeling brave today? The Mortal Kombat version of that is picking Sub-Zero instead of Scorpion. It's just so frustrating to see that being levied as like common criticism of like smaller fighting. Is like, oh, the game only has 10 characters? Well, who's even gonna bother? That's not enough. Like, your basic ass wasn't gonna go play Guilty Gear Strive and pick Soul in the first place? Shut the fuck up and just go play the game. With that, I'm out.